Which you have to do in Holland. You cannot be a top-class coach in Holland without going through a really long process. He's done all that. Other international players have failed to come through that. He's done that. He's then served his time elsewhere, and now he's bringing a wealth of experience here of the right kind, we think, to take Celtic forward.
And the British...
In weeks, we can cross to Parkhead and Martin.
Hi Louise, yes indeed, no doubt at all about the biggest sports story of the day. After that 10-week wait, Celtic have finally appointed the man they believe can take them back to the top. No, it wasn't Bobby Robson, nor indeed was it Arthur George, as many people have predicted today. Instead, Dutchman Wim Jansen. Fergus McCann, of course, had a big shopping list, but he insists the former Holland international was always at the top of it. The best-kept secret in Scottish football stayed that way right to the very end. Names have been bandied about for 10 weeks since Tommy Byrne's dismissal, but at 3:30 this afternoon, Wim Jansen was paraded before the press. It wasn't only the media who were showing an interest, even members of the ground staff were craning their necks to see who would be their new boss. A key member of the great Holland side of the 70s, Jansen played with the likes of Rep and Cruyff. This Archie Gemmell goal, though, probably one he'd rather forget. But more importantly to Celtic, his coaching pedigree is impressive as well. After 5 years as youth coach at Feyenoord, he moved to Belgium, where he rescued struggling club side Lokeren. Then it was back to Holland, where he took Feyenoord, a sleeping giant, back to the very top in Europe. He wasn't the biggest name to be linked with the job at Celtic, and he wasn't the only coach considered. But Jock Brown is convinced he's found the right man. Jansen's brief now, quite simply, success.
Oh, absolutely. We want to win things. We want to be a force in Europe. We want to be recognised again the way we were once some years ago. We want people to have the draw for European competitions and squirm at the notion they've got to play Celtic. That's what we want to have happen, and that's his brief.
Like any new coach, Jansen will want to restructure, and he's been promised the necessary funds to do that.
We've assured him that we will give him the backing to make the changes he thinks are necessary. I know his particular theory is he doesn't see that football is a game of off-the-shelf stars. It's a game of team building and tactics and strategy. And he's looked at our squad, and I'm sure he wants to make some changes, but we'll let him make those decisions and give him the backing that he needs.
And he'll get every bit of backing that he wants?
We'll give everything we possibly can.
Jansen may find he has more immediate worries, though. On the subject of Paulo Di Canio, club officials are displaying a certain amount of annoyance. The player refused to go to Holland with the rest of the squad today. General manager Jock Brown points out it's the club who should make these decisions, not the striker himself. They'll now attempt to settle their differences with the Italian, but given Georges Cadet hasn't returned yet either, the new head coach has some serious work to do, almost from day one. So that's the job, but what about the man himself? I took Wim Jansen aside as he met the press today and asked him what he wants to achieve here at Celtic.
If you come to a club, you want to bring them back on the highest level. That's why I'm here, and so I try to bring them back.
What attracted you to this job? When you first heard about it, you said you knew that was the job you wanted to come and get. Why?
Celtic is a very big club, especially in Europe. There are a few better clubs. Celtic is one of them. So if they offer me to speak to them, I know by myself right away that that was the club I want to work for.
The Celtic supporters have obviously been very anxious to learn who would take this position. Now that they know it's you, what do you say to them? What are you going to promise them that you can bring?
I think it's very important they support us very well, because especially if you see this stadium here, I think if they support us, we can play with almost 12 players, and that's very important for us. So I try to bring them attractive soccer, and that's what they like, I think.
What they want also, I think, are trophies and championships. Are you going to bring those to Celtic Park?
You always try to do that, but you never know if it works out. But I think we can work hard to bring Celtic on a higher level.
Well, we'll wait and see. Well, 10 weeks ago, an angry crowd gathered outside this stadium to hear that Tommy Byrne had been sacked. Today, there's a new coach and a very different mood. The news there was to be an appointment broke early this afternoon. By 3:30, a large crowd was outside Parkhead. The fans just happy the long wait was over. Once they'd read up on the new coach, their mood was generally positive.
Just reading Cruyff's remarks, he's got Cruyff's endorsement, that'll do me, like.
How much do you know about him as a coach?
As a coach, I believe he played for Feyenoord against Celtic, and his track record appears to be good. Peter Hoekstra, on one of the national papers last week, said that he's an excellent motivator. And Johan Cruyff at that time was quoted as saying he wished he'd came to Barcelona with him. So all we can do is get behind the guy and wish him all the best.
Well, he means nothing to me. I mean, that's going back to 1970, the European Cup final.
What we want now is players of a certain calibre, and the ones we've got to challenge Rangers. Whether they'll knit next year, I don't know, but we'll need a couple of big name players.
I think it's a good step now for Celtic now to look for a sort of wider stage, and that's the way we've got to aim now. In the passing game, like the guy was saying, now Celtic's always played that anyway with a sort of cavalier attitude, but have to get a wee bit tighter at the back. But we're Celtic supporters, you're season tickets for life, not for Christmas.
Well, elsewhere today, Gaza reported
goals from the likes of Ferguson, Sinclair.
Cowardice during the First World War should be pardoned. He ordered